Ever click that submit button on like an application and then suddenly you realize like, oh no, I totally messed up one of the questions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the worst feeling,
Yeah.
especially for something as big as the diversity visa lottery.
Right.
We're talking life-changing stuff here.
Absolutely.
So you really want to make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's on that application.
Yeah.
And that's what we're diving into today.
Okay.
We're going to make sure you totally nail the education section on your DV lottery application. And to help us out, we're using this awesome guide called How to Select the Correct Education Level in DV Entry Guided Me In.
Awesome.
So right off the bat, this guide pointed something out that I was like, what?
Really?
Yeah, it's about the primary school only option on the application.
Okay.
You'd think that'd be super straightforward, right?
Yeah.
But apparently not so much.
Oh, really?
So what's the deal with that?
Well, it's funny how these things go, right? It seems simple on the surface.
Mhm.
When you actually look at the guide, it says that primary school only is actually 3 different situations.
Okay.
Completing primary school, not finishing primary school, or never even going.
Whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
So someone who like never even set foot in a primary school would check the same box as someone who like went all the way through?
That's right.
That's kind of wild.
It is interesting when you think about it.
Yeah.
And it really makes you think about how the DV lottery views education overall.
Yeah.
It's not just about how much education you have, but where you landed within that system.
Huh. Food for thought for sure.
Yeah.
But it also seems like this could really trip people up if they're not careful.
Oh, so too.
Yeah.
Imagine you're someone who started primary school, but for whatever reason couldn't finish.
Okay.
Your gut instinct might be to choose a different option, right?
Yeah.
But like in the eyes of the DV lottery, primary school only is the correct choice, even if it feels a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so lesson learned, read carefully.
Yes,
Don't overthink it.
exactly.
Now let's talk high school, because I have a feeling this is where things could get even trickier.
Sure.
The guide draws a very clear line between high school no degree and high school degree, and I'm guessing that little no makes a huge difference.
You got it. That little no is everything.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect example of where this guide is so helpful.
Yeah.
Just because you went to high school doesn't mean you automatically get a diploma right.
Right.
The DV lottery is all about your highest level of completed education.
Okay, so let's set the scene here.
Okay.
Let's say we've got someone, we'll call him Leo, aced. Those early years sailed through most of high school, but then life happened.
Oh, no.
Maybe he had to help support his family or got a really awesome job opportunity, whatever the reason he never actually got that diploma.
Poor Leo. He seems like a smart guy.
I know, right?
But yeah, in Leo's case, he would have to select high school, no degree.
Even if he was like a week away from graduating.
Even if he was a week away,
Wow.
it really comes down to having that piece of paper.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But what about someone in a similar situation?
Okay.
Let's call her Maria.
Okay, Maria.
She finished all the requirements, but her diploma hasn't actually come in the mail yet.
That's where it gets really interesting. It gets really interesting. The guide doesn't actually say anything about that specific situation.
Huh. Interesting.
But if we're going based on what it says about needing that actual diploma,
Okay.
I think Maria should probably play it safe and choose high school, no degree,
Yeah.
at least until that diploma shows up in the mailbox.
Right. Better safe than sorry.
Exactly.
Especially with something this important.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered primary school and high school.
Right.
What about vocational schools?
Oh, okay.
That feels like kind of a gray area
Yeah, it definitely can be.
because I feel like a lot of people just assume that's the same as a high school diploma.
Right. They think, oh, it's like a trade school, so it's equal. But that's not always how the DD lottery sees it.
Yeah, our guide actually breaks this down really well.
Okay.
It explains that even though vocational schools teach super valuable skills,
Yeah.
they don't always have the same like structure and requirements as a regular high school.
It's a different kind of learning environment for sure.
Right. So let's say after primary school, you decided to go straight into like a hands-on program to learn a trade.
Ready?
You'd probably end up choosing vocational school as your highest level of education on the application,
Exactly.
even if you became like the best at what you do.
Exactly. It's more about showing where you fit within the different levels.
Not necessarily like how much you actually learned or how good you are at something.
Exactly. And that's something the guide points out that I think is really important.
Okay, so we've done we've done high school, we've
Yeah.
done vocational school. Are you ready to jump into university?
do it.
Because I feel like this is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, there are definitely some things that trip people up in the university section.
Like what?
Well, On the application itself, it seems pretty simple at first. University degree or some university courses.
Right.
But the details are really important here.
Okay, so what details are we talking about? What do people need to know?
So the guide is very clear that some university courses doesn't just mean someone who's currently taking classes.
Okay.
It also means anyone who started a university program but didn't finish.
Oh, interesting.
Even if they didn't get an actual degree.
So even if someone did like a year or two of college but then decided to do something else,
Exactly.
they'd still choose some university courses.
Yes,
Yeah.
even without that diploma.
Wow.
And here's another thing. That category also includes people who maybe did shorter, more specialized courses.
After high school.
Right, exactly.
Oh, wow. So like even things like craft courses at a local college or a diploma program.
Exactly. Those could all fall under some university courses.
That's way more than I think most people realize. It's a much broader category.
For sure.
So then obviously if you completed a full undergraduate degree and you have that diploma, then it's easy.
Then it's straightforward.
University degree.
Exactly.
But I feel like if there's ever any doubt, it's always better to give more information on the application than less.
Absolutely.
And speaking of more information, our handy guide doesn't just stop at undergraduate studies.
It keeps going.
Oh, yeah. It also covers master's degrees, doctorates, and even people who are still studying for those bigger degrees.
Because, education is a journey. It's not a destination.
So true.
Like, even if you're working on your PhD, you already have your master's degree. You would still choose master's degree on the DV lottery application.
Because that's the highest level of education you've actually finished.
Exactly.
Or you're hoping to be someday.
Right. And, this actually brings up a really good point for everyone listening.
Okay. What's that?
It's really easy to get caught up in all the excitement of the DV lottery and start overthinking things.
Yeah.
But honestly, when it comes to this application, accuracy is everything.
Yeah. You really want to make sure you're representing yourself honestly and accurately.
Exactly.
Like, this guide gave us the cheat codes to this whole education section on the application.
Yeah, right.
But like with any good cheat code, you got to know how to use it.
Okay.
So what else should our listeners be thinking about as they're going through the rest of the DV lottery application?
Well, first of all, I think it's really important to remember that this guide is a fantastic starting point.
Okay.
But it's just that it's a starting point.
Right.
The DV lottery is seriously competitive.
Oh, yeah.
So every single thing on that application really matters.
So are we talking like full-on detective mode here, like scrutinizing every single word?
Pretty much.
Intense.
Yeah. You really got to be careful.
Okay, so what if someone's listening and they've got a question that goes beyond what's in this guide? Like, what about people who went to school in a different country?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah, because our guide mentions foreign education a little bit.
It does, but that can get complicated really fast.
So what should people do in that situation?
Honestly, don't wait until the last minute.
Always good advice.
If you've got diplomas or certificates from schools in other countries, start gathering all that stuff as soon as possible.
Oh, so you're ahead of the game.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because you might need to get those documents translated
or
even officially evaluated to show what they're equivalent to in the U.S.
And I'm guessing the actual instructions for the DV lottery would have all those details.
Oh, for sure. Those instructions are like your new best friend.
Your little Bible?
Yes. Read them carefully, highlight anything that seems important, and don't be afraid to read them again and again and again.
Until you've got it memorized.
Exactly.
Okay, good to know.
And you know what? There's absolutely no shame in asking for help.
True.
The U.S. Department of State website has a ton of information.
Okay.
Plus, there are all kinds of online forums about immigration.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, you can always talk to an immigration lawyer if you need more guidance.
It's like having a whole team of people in your corner.
Exactly. You don't have to figure this out all on your own.
I love that.
The DV lottery can definitely feel overwhelming at times.
For sure.
But if you got the right information and you stay organized, it's totally doable.
Well said. So to everyone listening who's dreaming of a fresh start, remember, accuracy is key, details matter, and your own unique education journey is valuable.
Hear, hear.
Don't count yourself out before you even begin.
Yes.
Do your research, get your documents in order, and just approach this whole thing with the same energy you bring to everything else in your life.
I love that you're speaking my language.
And that is a wrap on another deep dive. We'll be back next time with another episode.
Can't wait.
But until then, happy learning, everybody.